And the next thing I know, you hear a gunshot, which again, not uncommon to hear a gunshot.
This isn't funny, but it's kind of funny.
Right?
It would have exploded that thing. Oh, this is great. How's it going, folks? I'm Mike with Drone Deer Recovery. Today will be the first episode of a new segment that will be called Field Stories with Drone Deer Recovery operators all across the country. So today we have Austin from Indiana. Let's hop on a call with him. How's it going, Austin Cooper? It's good to have you on. I feel honored to have you as one of our operators. You had quite an interesting story already with one of your drones, huh?
Yeah. It's actually, I was talking to Kevin first time I touched base with him, and it was just, I asked him the question like, hey, have you guys had any of your operators have their drone shot at yet? And he was like, wait, what? And so, it was, back, just several weeks back, but end of January, I picked up my drone, and
it's like he's making this up, but he's legit, right? Like, how long have you had the drone before?
It was just a couple weeks. I mean, maybe just a few flights. Obviously, I'm still getting to it. And it was my daughter's little birthday, and I had some family down. And I wanted to show the thing off. So
yeah, sure. It's a sweet drone, right? You got to show it off.
It was a nice day out, and I wanted to show my parents. So I took the thing up for a flight, and then we live in southern Indiana, so, rural America, it's nothing uncommon for us to hear gunshots on Saturday, weather out. So we got, like a small piece of land, and I flew back to the back corner of it to show my dad the city skyline. And
was this in the daytime, or was it the sunset?
Daytime. This is, we live about 25 miles outside of Louisville, so I was just showing him the capabilities of all the way into Louisville. And I hit the return to home, brought it back, landed, and by this time all the little kids are out in our front yard, and they're playing. So, of course, they're getting a kick out of it. Well, I take it back up, and I'm at 400 feet, just hovering there, showing my dad the camera, showing my mom, like, here, look at this, look at this. And the next thing I know, you hear a gunshot, which, again, not uncommon to hear a gunshot. But then I heard a follow-up shot, and I was like, well, wait a second, I should probably do this. And by this time, my wife's looking at me like, is that our neighbor? And I'm like, well, it might be.
Wait, the neighbor is shooting at your drone?
Yeah, so
Did you see the neighbor shooting at your drone?
So I pan over. The house, his house is probably 300-400 yards from mine, but I pan over with the camera, and obviously there's a young man standing on the porch, and he's aiming directly at my drone. So
no.
Yeah, my drone has become a really expensive target for me.
Did he have a shotgun, or what type of gun was this?
It was a high-powered rifle.
High-powered rifle? Shooting up in the sky?
I don't know the specifics, but I would assume it was a 223 or maybe a 30-06. I'm not exactly sure. It was a scoped weapon.
Folks, don't do that. Don't shoot high-powered rifles up in the air.
So I immediately yell something to the effect of, "Hey, stop shooting!" And
this isn't funny, but it's kind of funny.
It's bizarre. I mean, I hit the return to the home button, and I was like, and at that point, I'm instantly frustrated. I'm like, okay, this is not drone, but this is you're shooting, negligently over my property. And so, hey, I gotta have words with this guy. And so again, he's my neighbor. I never personally met him, but I knew his dad. So I go walking over to the edge of the property. I'm yelling for him to come out of the house, and he doesn't come out. So eventually, I call his father, and I'm like, hey, I just explain the situation. I'm flying this drone. I saw somebody at your house firing a weapon. I want to make sure I can have a conversation with this man and figure out, what exactly is going on. So I think it just, boiled down to just unawareness. I think, and I'll be honest, before I got into this and started doing all the research and taking the training and all that, I didn't realize that it was illegal to shoot at a drone.
Yeah, it's a federal aircraft.
So that's exactly what I call his dad. I say, hey, I just need to let him know, hey, it's a federal crime. You can't be shooting over my over.
Wow, you did not have the screen recording turned on, huh? Doggone.
So
we would have loved to see that, right?
Yeah. So eventually I get, his dad's on the phone. I talk to him. He said, I'll call him and I'll have him come out and talk to you. So he calls me back and said, hey, he's not comfortable coming out. Because, again, I was pretty upset. But
wait, how old was this fella?
I think early 20s, possibly.
So he could have adulted up and came out and talked to you.
But he did. So he came out. And, I had worked with him, and I explained to him, like, hey, it's not acceptable. You can't do this. Even if you thought, because his excuse was, well, he wasn't sure. You got to remember, this is a few weeks back, and it's on the heels of, the United States shooting down a Chinese air, right? And we shot another there. So he just thought, well, his thing was, well, you didn't know it was government or what. Hardly.
Oh, this is great. He thought it's a Chinese coming. It is a Chinese-made drone, just not flown by a Chinese guy.
Well, so I'm within distance. I bring the drone up and I bring it over to him and I show him, hey, here's the capabilities. And he's a reserved firefighter, so he's like, oh wow, this, he's like, I'll bring it up in my next meeting. You could potentially use this for, search and rescue, whatever. And I was like, yeah, I'm all helping out the community. That's the intent behind this thing, is not only for doing the deer recovery, but also anything that can help. That's the intent behind it. So he saw the capabilities right there and instantly knew like he'd made a really big mistake. And he was so apologetic. He's like, hey, I apologize. And I just said, hey, no harm, no foul. Just wanted to educate you a little bit and just say, hey, you can't shoot one of these things down. If you did, I'd have to report it. There's obviously penalty there. So, we smoothed everything over. And honestly, I think, hindsight 2020, I probably should have went around and just made my neighbors aware of what I was doing before I started flying. And it wasn't like I'm flying the drone directly over their home and buddy or anything like that. But still, in our location, we love our property and we love our privacy. So it's to be expected. I would just, mental note at this point, if it's a Saturday, nice weather out, people are probably not a good idea to take your drone out for
Cool. Hey, I appreciate you sharing that story. Pretty funny. I gotta say, it would have been awesome if you would have had the camera rolling, because we would have loved seeing a guy pointing his gun.
It was a little nervy to be.
I bet it was. Yep. It's not a $5 drone by any means. I wasn't laughing at you. I was just laughing. It's funny to think that somebody just takes a 223 or whatever, like starts shooting you.
Yeah. But I'm glad I can laugh about it now, right? Like,
you would have been pissed if he would have actually hit you, because it would have exploded that thing.
Oh man, I called Roger at Ohio Drone Repair, and because he's where I picked up the drone from, and I was just like, hey, do I need to make sure I have additional insurance on this thing? Because I'm like 3 flights in and I've already been shot twice. What? Shot it? No. Actually, I have. And, he was like, he told me, well, you're covered under the DJI basic care. And then he was like, and I was like, well, are they going to cover? Because I've read through their whole, as soon as it happened that night, I read through my whole warranty and was like, technically they don't cover acts of violence, they don't cover acts of war. They're going to cover it.
Yeah.
Because, how are they going to know? Well, I don't know. So that's how it was. I was talking to Kevin. I was like, what do you guys advise in this situation? If, I even told Roger, like, should I buy 2 of these things in case one gets shot down?
It's always going to be good to have another one on backup, because when my one went down, of course, I had 3 calls that night that I had to go do, and I was out those calls. But for the most part, they're so reliable. It's not like you're gonna go fly and then a motor's gonna go bad. I say that, and then maybe one does, but dude, I didn't have any problems, and I flew the piss out of my drone. Like, dude, I probably flew it close to 300-400 hours. But
wow.
Yep.
Outside of the your one incident you recorded where it just fell out of the sky, have you had any other issues?
No. So you'll have minor glitches. Dude, one time I was flying and just all the lights would turn off. I did not hit the discrete mode or anything. It just, the whole thing shut off. So I couldn't even see the drone to like come back and land. But it's basically a flying computer. Come back, power it down, reboot it, let it start up. Obviously, always keep the firmware updated if you can, because if you don't, then those glitches will just get worse and worse. But I had no issues with my drone whatsoever.
Nice.
Yep.
It's absolutely incredible what, obviously what you guys have done with it. But just now that I have it at my fingertips and I'm out flying it around, getting used to it, it's pretty bizarre.
It is pretty wild. Is that the wildest thing or what? He had it for a few days and somebody's already shooting at it. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I was laughing. It's not funny, right? It's not funny. It's thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, and somebody was wanting to shoot his drone down. Come to find out it was his neighbor right next door. So yeah, definitely don't be shooting drones out of the sky or attempting to. That's the story for this week here, Field Stories from Drone Deer Recovery. We'll see you on the next one.